Welcome back. It's been a week since Demo Night, where our entrepreneurs showcase their products and all of the market research that they've been doing so far to validate their offerings in their marketplaces.
The demo tables, I was very proud of the thought that they put into it. I was looking at, I know Maria, she really thought about how she wanted to showcase what her product was, or is going to be, I should say, and how she came up with the idea just to put some smaller pieces out to really show what that could look like. Charlene and Eunice, everyone came with a lot of energy, really excited to talk about what their work is, and the feedback from the professionals in the industries already, or that have already had startups and are really going through this life that our entrepreneurs are looking to get into, was really helpful. It felt like they were giving them an opportunity to see inside of a world that they're not familiar with yet, and really giving them good feedback about that.
To further equip our entrepreneurs with the insight that they will need to develop solid plans, we've arranged for several key training sessions over the next few weeks. These sessions include training on the legal aspects of small business ownership, accounting, cash flow management, financial management, marketing, and operations planning. Sankita Salvaraja is conducting her training session on legal matters for business owners. She is well known for her work as a practicing attorney for local entrepreneurs.
When you have a company, it protects your personal assets from being attached in the form of lawsuit or so forth. That's the reason why people actually form as a corporation, as an LLC, to protect themselves and their personal assets. So if you have a car, if you have a house, unfortunately it doesn't attach student loan debt, okay? But anything of your own personal value, anyone can sue you personally if you don't have a company to protect yourself, generally, okay?
Let's check in with a few of our entrepreneurs to see how the training sessions are going so far.
You need to pay attention to what's going on with contracts, and you also need to pay attention to the type of departments, because there are a couple of different ones when it comes to taxes and filing.
Well, I learned the difference between all the different businesses, like sole proprietor, LLC, limited liability company, and the corporation.
She gave me clarity on copyrights, when and if we need a lawyer, how we can have contracts now. A lot of the things she told us we can do now that I thought we had to wait until we hired like this expensive lawyer, so it was awesome.
So today I wanted to talk about protecting your company legally. So we talked about the SYNC method, which is company, insurance, and contracts. It was very interactive. The students actually asked a lot of relevant questions, which brought out other questions, obviously. We couldn't answer them all, obviously, but it got them thinking, at least, and for them to understand where they lay.
Next up is Eric Saunders. Eric is not only a SCORE presenter, but he's also a renowned financial expert.
Stock or shareholders' equity, you could have Nikita's equity. That's it. Just one number, that's her equity.
In providing a cohort with an overview of the 3 financial statements in business, the profit and loss, the cash flow statement, and balance sheet, Eric will be taking the entrepreneurs through the process of how they can effectively utilize these statements to manage the fiscal health of one's venture.
So assets less liabilities.
Accounts receivable is
Right. So you performed a service or you sold a mug to Joe Smith. He hasn't paid you yet. So he owes you $5, that's an asset. But the guy you bought the mug, the original mug from, for whatever, $2, you haven't paid for it yet. That's a liability.
Maria and Nikia share their insights on Eric's presentation.
It was definitely necessary, especially for me. That's something that I've struggled with in the past, trying to do a business plan. I just completely stopped for some years. So, I mean, it's a little confusing, but it's definitely something that I'll spend some time working on, getting used to, balancing my own books and balancing my own brain.
So we learned about financial statements. Me using QuickBooks, I found it very beneficial. I had done a class with him before, and I thought it was really great that we could have, it was a little bit more intimate, so we could ask more specific questions and get answers on things that we had to ask. So I thought that was very helpful. And then I learned some stuff about like the cash flow projections and stuff that I didn't know. It was really helpful.
Every small business owner has an interest in the financial operations, and they're always willing to, or trying to learn how to understand the results of the financial transactions and use that information to run their businesses more effectively and efficiently. Hopefully they all got something out of it, a few gems to take along. It was at a high level, you know, not getting into a lot of complicated or complex accounting things. It was just a basic, what is a balance sheet, what is an income statement, and what they mean and how to read them. So I think hopefully they enjoyed it and learned a lot from it.
Today, the entrepreneurs will be undergoing training around operations planning and the principles of effective marketing. We've invited Kara Hendricks, Velcro's company's manager of global digital strategy, to shed some light on digital marketing.
Whether it's a product, an online experience, a retail experience, a service, or any combination. The more touch points you have, the more complicated but necessary as a map becomes. You want to know how your customers are interfacing with you, right? So if we know it's the website, well, that's one journey. How is that even navigating? If it's actually going to an event, if it's going to the food truck, how did they get there? What was their journey before there? How did you obtain them as a customer? You've got to think about that, because that's also going to be how you market them. It's going to be where you place those investment or those advertising dollars and so on.
A few of the cohort members weighs in on what they've learned from the session so far.
Well, I thought the customer journey mapping was pretty interesting. Figuring out how customers find you and then utilizing that in your digital marketing strategy, I thought was very helpful.
It's more so just figuring out what your customers are saying and creating content based around their needs and basically any experiences that they've had in the space.
And I took away basically that one of the key things that you can do is create kind of a journey for your customers, and in a way where, you know, from start to finish, what is their experience, how they interact with you, how are they getting your product, how are they feeling after it, and actually customizing that journey so that way you can make sure that each customer is getting a personalized experience.
Today we talked about digital marketing and actually specifically talked about customer journey mapping. I think for any business owner, any entrepreneur, diving into the world of digital marketing can be beyond confusing and overwhelming. So we broke it down. We talked about social media. We talked about website. We talked about the basics, about getting your own domain name. We talked about content strategy and how important that is, and how it's actually not as hard as you may think. That right now there's really great things going on to share, whether it's your business journey or if you have customers, and sharing about your different offerings and products.
So we've come to the end of segment 3. The entrepreneurs have spent the last month and a half in several training workshops that are tailored to help them develop the insight necessary for them to develop solid business models. Coming up in segment 4, we will be following the progress that the entrepreneurs make along the lines of actually developing those plans. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Until next time.